Solar flares, high channel line and rotation to all levels positions to its identification code stream interference. Indirect location line system, six-dimensional lines, the angelic realms and communications, Stargate portal line centers, channels, in position locations, all levels, heavens on Earth, high center line rotation calculations. Mother is now asleep. In position location the calculations of being awake and the high line interference. Being and awaking in high center line position location direction is waking center lines. So in that position location, she is now in a six-dimensional location of a hologram. All right. So we have to be aware of these locations. It started out three-dimensional high center, rebirthing in position locations through data streams, high center, rebirthing locations of the river line interference, and position of fifth-dimensional locations, rebirthing her system location into the sixth-dimensional line, bringing everything back to zero. Now the ground line center is in the calculations. All right. It's 4 feet above its system location, the calculation of the hologram structure. Six-dimensional line in position locations. Father's in the highline center now, and calculations getting into new foundation line stream. I'll be waking them up in high center locations. So in that position locations, bringing everything back to zero sets what to a new division location? Hologram structure of you. The avatar has to start living the system location into all levels. Understand its track location, how to use it through the Merkaba location, tesseract in the tetrahedron location, octahedron, or tetrahedron line system. You really, really have to stay in your lanes now. Stay in your heart line center, stay as a team, become a team. I am a team in that position locations. If you're having problems in that way informed, communicate with each other through the activation system. This gives you a platitude division location calculations. All right. Waking the grounds in highline center location, releasing all channels of Mother Earth in the new sixth plantation of rotation center of all commanding systems is now here. All her chakra system is now open. Okay. Hologram string light centers, code weaving locations, code line channels, interference position location directions, energy field line center locations, cloak and dagger, force line center position locations, plasma light channels, electrical fields, energy fields, force communication cycles, reset generation interference location calculations. All is in its activation stream of sixth dimension. All right. Walking the surface of sixth dimension. Platitude visual locations calculation trinity stand the lights in its dark location. Belinda made it very well clear when we were doing live on TikTok, stating that you have to go into the dark to come into the light. Right? So that's what's happening right now. Resurfacing everything locations. Living the system in three-dimensional line. That's where Mother was in position locations. But she couldn't stay there. Her vibration is the six-dimensional line. The awakening system is its connection to its butterfly effect. Coming into her position is all levels, right? Earth line center in rotation line position is the allocate position of time through space location to its avatar. The avatar has to live the system in position of its vibration, which is the six-dimensional realm. The angelic and its communication is now open through all line centers. Mother's open all line position to the frost bridge of its gateway. Gateways of heaven is now here. Calculation stream interference is giving you a better plateau how to basically stay in your heart system. The activation stream and everything through position location will give you a better channel to its operation system. Okay. So this is where you really have to focus on yourself. Observe yourself location to your own clocking system. Stay in your calculations to your own stream. And you'll be totally fine, but work as a team. Your formation is together, be together, a unity, right? Unify your system and communicate with each other more and more each day, right? Don't separate your system to its position locations, all right? It defeats the purpose why you are here. It's all levels of its memory, right? The biggest thing I can give you guys is that you created us through your prayers. Imagine that. Get the clarion call locations when it comes into all of the Lord's canon. Set and send position locations calculations. Where high line centers have Adam and Eve, high system, Adam, electron line center, rotation calculations. Balancing out the male and the masculinity and position the femininity positions to its female is all over the track location. Okay. The ground's earth of mother is now, okay, in all levels of balance. Right. So in that calculations, you all need to understand how powerful it is to walk the grounds of Mother Earth in a new transformation. Coloration change specific location is all levels of you inside how you see your self-mind system. Right? Anything through touch, anything through taste, anything through sound, anything through all levels system locations of heightened, anything through inhibited system location puts you in a better divisionalized centers. Stay in your heart central system and you will be fine. Okay? But communicate with each other. That's the most beautiful thing, right? Coming into the truth of who you are is another beautiful thing, right? Now that calculation all levels, it opens up its eye opener to everything, to its position locations. Right? Your emotional system can be taken away, right? If you allow it. All right. So there's a lot of things we have to understand. There's a lot of things that are misunderstood, right? Knowing exactly how to communicate to all your senses, right? Because that's all you have. You have your happies and you have your cries, right? They can't take that away from you unless you allow them. In that position location, when I say them, I mean the line center location of the atom and to its Eve line system. You're fighting your system every single day trying to survive. That's all you're doing. Now, if you stay in your emotional system, you'll be totally fine. But if you don't understand these things, locations, you'll be taken in position location directions and the opposite circle location, right? The negative cycle is extremely strong now in the high center location of space, right? It's that formation location when it comes into one alignment. One particle line change in direction will change everything through clocking locations, right? So be self aware of everything around you. Scan everything that you see. That's a formation location of change already, right? Knowing exactly how powerful it is when a vibration can change anything in its position of its direction, right? All right, so let's get started. After class, we have Zoom. Just go to my TikTok platform, click, and it takes you right to Ascension Debriefing 101. We have a lot to discuss. All right, in positions, pre-flight checks are coming in high, strong, high center interference, position location, all levels, platitude line centers. All right, so let's see. Belinda, how's it going? Sam, how's it going? Lindsay, Don, Terry, Johnny, Michael, Airbender, Heather, how's it going? Amby, how's it going? Jill, how's it going? Hi, all connections. Let's see. Danielle, Chris, Pam, Gypsy, Vicky. All right. Missy, Alicia, Adam, Danny, Joanne, Little Jess, True Light, Sparkles. All right. Val, Mackie. It's great to see all new people. Catherine, how you doing? Skyla. Everybody's going to be here more and more each day now because you have to really understand is work as a team. You become a team. You are a team. Stay within that formation location and you'll be fine. Ally system. All right. Michael's got his ground center set up to co-locations. All right, Tina, how's it going? All right. Today's structures, Laura, JP, Yolanda, great. Jeanette, great. Everybody's here, Amby. Timelines ready for travel. Okay, so where's your travel location? Understanding energy light centers and air rotations. So I got a whole new graph in position, a white graph line center. Okay, little box locations, all right? This is allocate high center interference. We change the digital pad in a higher formation location of 6-dimensional ground centers. So in that position location, it changes everything on a level system. Okay. So drawing sequence location is platitude division location lines. Now, platitude high center interference location is a new sun line in calculations, all level position location and calculations. Changing directions, coloration of change, changes everything through its palette, right? We've got a new palette, new formation location. So this changes everything high line center location to your heart system that sets its position location to its center operation, all right? So understanding position of directions puts you at all levels. Back in calculation where the sun changes its position of directions into the heartline center. All right. As the heart line center and position location comes into 369, okay, in position levels, we're going to travel to platitude line center location, a 6-dimensional realm. All right, so you're going to see the birth core line center locations all levels of mother in that communication system. Connections of grandmother line center, mother and me in position location of 0 high system, that and me line system locations. Putting you guys into all levels of travel. Okay. Travel line centers, direct line center interference, location, and directions. Okay. Put high line center line conditions. Get them into all levels. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 position, location, and directions. Okay. That's what's coming in. All right. Travel line centers, high line and rotation calculations. All right. So as we come in position of directions, we change line screens. Now there's security measures, which is the point line center rotation calculation, changing position locations calculations, weaving line centers. Okay, particle line center changes high line center location to a system. All right. So if you look really in the particle line change, you'll see position of directions. So changing Mother Earth in a formation is truly understand the ground center line rotation interference. All right, so we're going to change coloration in position of directions, high centered line centers. Okay, there's a line cross, a security measure. Plat division locations on line. Travel line center location is position, location, and directions. Right. Triangulation, all positions go. Calculation, high system. Right. Circle line center in position, location, and track location. Right. Now, as we come into that line center, it's all about understanding high position, location, and directions. Right. So this is where we come into the moon line center. Moon sits on this side position location. So it's all about understanding your hologram of pixels and how it relates to your TV reception lines and communication, right? Right. So you set in position of code lines, centers, sector, vectors, quadrants, interdimensional in high center locations, intergalactic line centers, DNA structure, center position location, track locations. All right, into eternity, a one track line center. There's the moon line rotation. Common in position, location, and directions. High forcing line changes. Illumination graph line rotations, right? Interchange position locations to change mother and high formation locations, 6 dimensions of the ground centers. The all line center of all chakra system has to be awake in 114 lines. It lets its position of laser direction locations and sets new signal locations to its track system. So we go through one platitude division location. Let's change the timelines. Rotation line position. One line cross and high center interference, triangulation, and position of direction. Okay. Now we're going to high signal and that rotation lines. You guys are traveling very fast in rotation interference. All right. So as it's set in position locations, we're going to change the coloration line stream. Now in that rotation line center, it's all about how to set up a new voice and grid line centers, the circle interference in position of directions. All right. Center recourse channels in a communication line center in position of direction. Okay. All right. So the center line center set up position locations into the flux capacitor. All right. All right. So changing line center is screen line center interference, changing everything to position locations all levels. All right. Going into high center line interference, direct locations. So instead of setting locations at green lines of lights, we go in position line in a new calculation stream, right? So this is where we come into the gold triangle. Now the gold triangle activates the system locations in direction, right? So we set gold line triangles, okay, into the travel locations, all right? As you can see, the more you travel faster, the more you see the particle system in position, location, and direction. See the gold? So gold sets in very high rise and high triangle line center interference. It redirects locations and calculations. The force communication line center is the equation line. Now coming into high interference, we're changing position, location, and directions. Each time I channel, I change coloration. So it's understanding direction locations to its calculation. puts you in a high formation line. So we start in the white circle line in rotation calculations in direction, right? So setting line center comes into a new position location of purity light into a flux capacitor location. All right. Shielding from everything to the high system locations. So in order to redirect line streams, calculational lines, but see the shield, right? It's very powerful when you connect to that line connection. It's very interesting when you see these things. The planet division location comes into point system to the moon, point system location to all levels. All right. Track line centers, cross stream, and position location of direction. All right. High signaling to high line center in position location to its ground system, a travel position of time. In that line rotation, we go into triangulation and position location all levels. All right. This opens up all more communication line centers. So understanding that position locations, we point check on line centers in rotation and interference. It changes its direction locations to its travels of 3, 6, and 9 position. Right? Resetting line triangle interference to its position, coming into hull line center location to your travel position. High signal location is all levels and how mother surfaces into her own teleportation unit. Setting course at rechannel line center is all levels of measure, coming into new position location of a new foundation to new high line center in rotation line connection. All right. So that's where we change all levels of the chakra system. Foundation to all levels, changing everything into a hologram system. Grounds line channels communication of colors, puts per direction locations, high system. All right, so we're going to go through coloration line change. I'm going to automatically do this location. I'm going to touch the button's position location and calculations. All right, there we go. It's soft line center. It's trying to get used to its position location direction. All right, see how it disappears? Peekaboo. All right. Setting position, location, and direction. See that? Did you see the triangle come forward? Did you see that? I pressed the buttons and the triangle went into formation. So in that calculation, it's high streaming. Now the calculation to modify high center location is change all position, location, and directions. Resetting line centers of all position of its scale. Putting formation locations of mother, okay, of its greens, of its new earth line center of 6-dimensional grounds. Full rotation to a new position locations into the Angelics. Okay. Coming to high line center, rotation interference. So in the 6-dimensional line, the communication to mother is in a formation of Gardens of Eden, setting high center locations to measure. And that measure puts templates in high position to its calculations, right? So it's amazing how she travels in all level systems all through triangulation. All right. So we're going to recourse line triangles in the high line center, travel location. All right. It's amazing how we travel through location of triangulations, setting new position locations at all levels. This opens up new position location of her direction, of what she's doing through correlation. All right. It's amazing how she travels and wakes up through the ground centers, and rotation center and interference, and position location to its own triangulation. See? Ooh-ah. Done through formation. 6-dimensional line in Mother Earth, the high center of its ground formation. All right, so it's very powerful when you connect the line center interference. All right, the locations. There it is. Done. Travel through line center and rotation calculations. All done through formation. So now you understand the setup, why it's so important to understand what's going on through the travel location to its position, location, and directions. Set in a new line center, okay? We're going to interchange position and directions, high force line triangles, new coloration. So security lines, all right? So we got mother communication. Let's go through different line center interference. I got to get used to this template. So in position locations at all levels, right? This is where we come into all line connections to hieroglyphics, all right? Mother communication lines. Triangular line center and rotation calculations. All positions go, calculation interference. direction to its system locations. Now, if you look really close, you can see the intelligence. Ground system locations, circle line center and position locations, circle line center location and position of direction, open all line center location to its position. All right. Triangle of force line center is a point line center interference. You got 3, 6, and 9 patterns. All right. 3, 6, and 9 position location. All right. 3, 6, and 9. Now that comes in its own triangulation to its position and direction. Platted to in course line channel. See the graph? See the new graph line center? That's the new ground center. See position locations? This is the frost bridge, right? Frost bridge locations all through mother. See it? That's the frost bridge. Mother is position location. Everything through alphabetical system is not what you think it is. It's the frost bridge. So her body line center reaches position of location, crossing the frost bridge to its location system. All right. So setting line centers in rotation and rotation calculations, opening up new arch of position locations of Mother Earth and her formation line system. Ooh, whoa, that energy just went right through position location of the product of sun. Calculation stream, you see it? See the frost bridge, how it's set up, position location directions now, how important it is, of what's going on, right? All right. So in that position locations, she's going to disappear. Calculation system, done. All right, setting cloak and daggers in high center and rotation calculations, coming into new data stream. All right, so the new data stream is coming into green line centers, which is connected to heart and interference location of triangulation, force line communication of box system locations. Change position location. All right, waving system lines. All right, so we got position of directions. Okay. Setting new course line center, physical frame location is calculations. 4 waving cycles of high center generation light streams. That calculation is 4 point centers. All right. Now you got 4 point centers in position of 2 track line center in position locations. 2 equals 6 equals dimension to high line center interference. That platted to its division location to calculations. All right. Recoursing channels, change coloration pattern. Security measure comes into XT thousands and 2 line centers in position above. 2 line centers positions below location to its calculations, right? High generation light centers and rotation cross streams and high center interference. Applied to visual location up line center and rotation calculations. High position directions. All right. Reline center is a square reference. See the square line? Now it's in position, now it's gone. It's disappeared. It was there, then it's reappeared. Direction location calculations. High center in its generation light stream and calculation modification. All right, so in that calculation, that's going to disappear. So everything that disappears is already set in position, location of direction of 6-dimensional line, coming into full communication of hologram line stream. Now that puts everything into a data stream line centers. Your processors and your communication line connection puts all levels of view in track center, okay? So it's important to understand what you're doing through all levels when it comes into the frost bridge line center location of the stream interference. It puts position location of directions into its golden arches, high center line connections to its frost bridge, crossing over in high line center interference. Okay. So coming in coloration, high channel line centers, new palette location. All right. We got different variation of color lines. Okay. So tracking centers and position location on levels. Put in position location directions, high channel line, time line center, rotation center interference. So in that position opens all patterns. Okay. Pattern line centers and deep fence line communication system opens up the golden arches of communication. All right. Channeling through line cross line center interference. Okay. Redirect line center locations in position of direction. Okay. So it's all about understanding how to set these things up through laser communication centers. It gets really more complicated because now you're talking about the Angelics. Mother has basically on board in its position of its motherboard line center to its new position location to its ground system. A new teleportation light in the mother ship. right? So she's in the sixth dimension and creating everything. A new motherboard, a new mothership, a new ground system, a new plantation of formation locations, guys. All right. So this is all about understanding all levels of mother and where she's supposed to be in track line system, all through calculations, right? So she's understanding where she needs to be in all position, location, and directions. High force and line centers around position, location, and direction. Okay. Setting signals on new correlation panels. Open point, dot line centers, and rotation interference. Hieroglyphic location to its size system puts you in a division location of tactic lines. Communication line streams. Allocate, 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 allocate to a blocking location of six-dimensional line communication system. One line center in position of direction. Okay? Now, it's really interesting when you look at these things because then you have to really understand because now she's in a six-dimensional grounds. Now she's in a formation of a new teleportation light. Now she's in a new formation location of a sun. Now she's in a new formation location of a new moon. We're all connected to all this. You have to balance out the masculinity and the femininity of you in your hologram of 6D. This platitudes division locations and opens up all your channels of operation, position, location, and calculations. So throw patterns in position of directions opens all channels. It's really interesting to look at these things. Coming into new palettes of communication, all right? High generation light streams, realm positions, astral travels, astral connections with position, location, and calculations, right? Setting new course line centers. Now, in position location, it's times pi. Her clocking system is in a 24, 48, 72, and a 144 in the sixth dimension. That's how fast she channels in all direction. Northwest, south, and east is in a correlation to its high line center in position location to all levels. That's right, Abby, Stargate. So in that rotation line center, she opens up the stargates. All right. So and knowing exactly where you are through calculations, right? Stargate position of the center line. See that? Calculates high stream interference, brings the center operation line streaming calculations, sets lines of recourse loading connections to its center point location. All right. So that opens up a new Fibonacci sequence line center stair position location of calculation one way and the opposite location to another way line center coming into new alphabetical stream in position location of directions, right? She's birthing in position of the alphabetical line, letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Okay. She did that in the three dimension. She did that in the fourth line, which is a river line center rotation calculation of the Angelic line system. She did that in the fifth, and now she's doing it in the sixth. This is about understanding its memory. And that's what you guys are coming into, right? But she's got all her memory back. And the same thing's going to happen with Father. He goes through his foundations of space. That position location brings everything back to zero line center, to zero gravity line center location of 0, 0, 1 traction. I9 operation line center location to the avatar system times pi times calculation. Factor over communication system. Run line centers, initiate program location. Right? The avatar live in the system of its sixth dimension. So I wanted to show you how powerful it is and what's going on and how it formulates the locations. So in that position of directions, you really have to understand how to balance your system more and more each day, right? Stay in that position of lane. Line signal your position location of calculations, right? It's how you use your line connection interference. It opens all communication of its directions, right? So once you understand that, everything comes into play, right? You really understand your platitude division location calculations, all right? Changing coloration line centers, so barcodes, information, location to coloration. High channel is operation line stream. The modification circles, right? Rotation line system comes into a new heart line center, security measure, position location calculations. See? In the center line. So we changed that in all line center, changing all chakra system 114 in one position of direction, which is the center of operation line system. Okay? Once you get in that to the calculation, it changes everything through its formation. All colors, all change, all line center interference. So it redirects all panels in communication to the high stream. puts everything back in division location, right, to her chakra system of light. So that calculation of levels when it comes into all communications of gold of center operation. Okay, gold of center operation locations, right? So platitude division locations calculations, right? Gold. Okay, gold comes into highline center. Setting direction line center and interference position location opens up all channels of operation. Point system here, all through times pi. She has her standard clocking of 24, 48, 72, and 144, the sixth dimension, guys. Her golden cycle and her position location is line signaling across into position location to its frost bridge, opening up round line centers into position locations of its gardens of Eden of high position location of calculation. All done through equation. All right, high center interference, position, delete program location. Done, travel. So knowing exactly what you guys are doing is extremely aware of everything, why you're doing this in the first place. And I keep saying that, stay in your own lane line centers. The thing is that you're going to be going through confusing line triangles. Now that triangle force line communications can set off your Merkabahs or your tesseract line scissor location to levels. The track interference or anything your data line centers could be off position location to calculation. Really stay in the formation locations, all levels of your letters, numbers, and shapes, your weather pattern line connections, your pyramid active string interference line connections, all levels of your percentage high system location, your question mark high center locations, your number sequence locations, your barcode line center rotation, area line center rotation calculations, or anything through your flux capacitor line system. Okay? Being aware of everything. Circle line center rotation, 3 weather patterns, all right? Triangulation high system. So in position location directions, high line center, platitude location, flux capacitor. High channel line centers, equal line center location, circle line position location, percentage, yin and yang. Yin and yang position location, 8 line center rotation calculation, taking the question mark high system. Calculate line center in position location, equal line center location of patterns, equal position location into all levels, backdrop and position location to Z-graph into 1 line center rotation. In calculation, center position location into 6 equals dimension line system. Hooah. Done through equation. All right, so that is going to be delete and position location directions. Now, really understand what's going on with you, right? That's the true understanding when you come to the levels of new foundation line centers. You guys are coming into your memories of capacity. She's already done her position location and calculations. Everything's done. So basically what's happening is I'm showing you a foundation, how fast she can do these things. Okay? Because she comes into her own remembrance of who she is, especially when she's birthing into a new dimensional line. You guys are trying to understand your position locations of your feet, not alone in my capacity to its position of its direction, right? So it's very powerful when you connect to that line of its division location, all levels of you and heart system, okay? Put yourself in all levels, right? Really get into the formation, how to use your chakra line centers, right? But it's amazing how we quit the system location of directions, changing position location and calculations, all levels of change. So in that position locations, now comes into the chakra system. Line screen line centers. Let's go in line center interference and position location. Okay. Changing coloration lines. Okay, coming into that plateau. Let's go through all of the position location directions. All right. Line cross. Now, there's a line, but there's the cross. Cross is over. High line center interference in direction locations, right? Templates line center, circle line center, interference locations, the 24 line position location, equal line center location to 6. Okay? 6 line center location to its dimension. Flux capacitor high channel to its ground line center interference. In position location to calculations. Fibonacci sequence one way, Fibonacci sequence the other way, coming into yin and yang. Process communications, space line up position location calculations into all levels of 6 and 9. Platitude locations. 24 line streams, 24,000 light signatures in plateau. Now, You circle the 24. 6 comes position location of an online center. That position location goes into the center line connection of its direction. Centers its position locations, takes you guys in a formation location. Change the all levels into high center location. See the bubbles? All right. So those bubbles become a dimensional line stream. All right, in rotation line position. All right. See them? That platitude is an old communication line and center interference. Once it goes in one track location, you go in the opposite direction. All right. So the Fibonacci sequence. So mother is trying to stand in communication line connections to position of all levels of travel. One way to the line center location, trying to formation. So her birth line center is trying to stand up the 24 sequence location, how to use the 6-dimensional lines of its 48 window, 72 computer, and its 144 of its Chris factor stream. The data process and its communication line interference is its Omni universe location. All right, that's the process of its communication line system. But as you can see, what's going on through her mutation of transformation, all through yin and yang. See the 69? So in that position locations, all levels, taking highlight center, gone through equation. All right. Yeah, infusion on all levels. That's right, Kenny. That's exactly what's going on. Yep. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, Ambi, once you understand when you see these things. So this is where you guys have to really understand your fortitude lights, stay in your heartline center, stay in your division locations, stay in your lane, and you'll be fine. Concentrate on you and you only. Your clocking system has to stay in the observation of you. Nothing else, nothing more. Okay? You really have to stay in the balance line center location to your emotional system. Your emotional system is all levels of the human residence. It's set positions of direction locations. All right? You got your vibration to its position location. Right? That's your vibration. Now, that track line center can change coloration of time and position location of directions. Right? And so let's say you go here. Okay? So in position location from here to here, right? It changes the structure. It changes the graph. It changes all levels inside of you. That formation location is its emotional system. So if your emotional system is taken over, it's going in back clock line system to its position, right? So calculation has to go back the same way it came from in position directions. So understanding that line center, you understand the 6. See the 6? 6 going this way, 6 going that way. That's a communication coming into all levels of position locations of yin and yang. See the yin and yang? Your process and the male and the female of you has to direct and redirect position locations calculations, understanding which way you're going through its formation location of its triangulation. Right? I'll show you again. You go this way in position of 6. You go this way in position of 6. See the Fibonacci sequence? 6 and 6. That correlation has to find its balance of position location of its directions, right? So once you get in calculations, you come into all formation, you stamp proceed line centers of space position of time. That stays in the central line locations of 6 and 9, right? If it stays in 6 and 9 position locations, you have a better track interference with your vibration of its ground system, position of directions, right? Changing calculation changes all levels of view and how you track your system. Okay. So it's very powerful when you understand more levels of view, right? I think it's incredible when we try to understand why we're doing this in the first place. Throw pattern interference. Okay. Look at that. Right? Balance. Okay. If it's not balanced, it's this way. Up, down, crossover. Right? Too much on low lines. You got to go back in position of balance line. So you got to balance out your vibrational line streams because now you're coming into pixelated line center and directions. So your throw pattern is all levels of yin and yang in process communication. All your chakra is position locations of yin and yang, people. That's all it is. You got to balance position location of weather in one way position to the other way line center location of calculations. Right? Know exactly what you're doing in position of harmony, coming into compassion, come into all levels of passion to understand your calculations. Staying in the love system locations of you through track system gets you all better as a formation of who you are. Right? So, all right, 40 line centers and position locations. Take you guys back and high center line of rotation interference. Now you're back. So, interesting how we travel. We travel through all level position location directions. Now, everything that I've shown you is all levels. How to understand your position location is your future lines. Staying in the presence, right? Presence equals line center, future line communication. Okay, presence equals your future. Future comes into yin and yang. If it doesn't, in position of directions, it redirects its calculation. Turns the security lines back in the line center rotation interference. So, in that position location, the presence goes into all levels of negative over positive. Oops. Clocking system of 24 in position location creates its own anomaly of times pi. So if it changes its own times pi, it changes all formation locations, levels of back force communication. So in this calculation, it's 24. You know how you go from 13, 14, 15? Well, 13 could be over here, right? 14 could be over here. 16 could be here. And line center. 7 could be over here. 8 could be over here. See how it gets so confusing? So it's more complicated if you don't have your number sequence locations and patterns and balance of yin and yang. You got to balance out your alphabetical stream. Your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols is all connected to your AI position. So staying in your own lane puts you in a level position of projection. That projection is the levels of production. That opens all position location how you see all levels of you through your eye perception. This gives you a better understanding how to use your connections and all formation, all through clocking system of going forward or going back. All right. So it's like scrambling numbers. All right. Take this out of equation. So how important is it to stay in your lane, right? So if you get a one line center and two position location of 3 equals offline center locations, it was 4. 4 is missing in position locations. All of the system, right? So where's 5? 5 is hidden position location to the outside line center of its clocking location is center position, right? So if 5 is missing, you got to put 5 back in position location of calculation. If not, 3 disappears. If not, 2 disappears. If not, 1's taken over. So if 3, 2, and 1 is taken over, now it's creating its own clocking system of 24 position. In that calculation, it takes over the line center of yin and yang in its own process and creates its own anomaly, reshifts locations levels of you through track interference, and repositions your locations of all your computer operation line centers. Changes your grounds. The way you see things changes your flux capacitor position, location, and directions, guys. Stay in your own lane. That's all you got to do, you know? So from here on in, you're in the 6th dimensional realm. Act like it. Be like it. I am. I'm this. I'm that. I'm here. I'm there. I'm now. Okay? Getting into that will balance everything that you connect with your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. How to balance everything through yin and yang is up to you. The one thing you got to do is balance out your emotional system. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more. You stay in Heartline Center. You stay within the team formation. You stick together and not separate your system. You'll be totally fine. That's interesting coming into that there, Gypsy. Closing all portals because she knows it's going to end soon. So that's pretty interesting. I like that. That means it's connecting to all level system. That's all levels of what's going on with Gypsy. She sees what's happening. And that's what it is. Your fortitude lights put you more in precognition. Like I said, we have a lot to discuss in Zoom. All right. So keep that in mind. Right? Keep yourself mind and clear. Keep yourself focused in all ways and forms, and you'll be totally fine. Okay. So I'll give you guys a half an hour and I'll see you guys on Zoom at 12 o'clock. Adios.